Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Womp Pro and Wompathon live stream. I'm just going to go through some of the new features we have, the Wompathon we're hosting, and essentially just answer any questions anyone has. I know there's been a lot of questions since we launched Pro yesterday, so I'm here to answer any questions and to just go through some of the new features we have that are actually pretty exciting, I hope. And this is just the beginning of a lot of new features coming. This is just the first. So I'm really excited to continue to release stuff. But as you guys can see, we've been hard at work. Incredible new posts, everyone. I'm really impressed with what people have been doing with the new features just within the last 24 hours. And I'm really blown away by, what people have used the textures. And if anyone hasn't had the chance to check out all these amazing new posts, they're incredible and just really beautiful. All right. So I'm going to jump into it. I'm going to jump into our new features with Womp Pro, what we have to offer. If you haven't noticed, there's two different buttons. One of them is for Womp Pro and the other one is for normal Womp project. This is so that after 2 weeks, you don't have a confusion between Womp Pro projects and normal projects, and there's going to be an ability for you to switch between them. But for now, we're just giving you the choice of being able to start either one of them. Now, the first feature I'm going to talk about is one that not a lot of people have talked about, or I don't see a lot of people using. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it's the lightweight mode. I don't know if anyone's playing with this, but we worked really hard on this lightweight mode, which is, I think, pretty cool. And it allows you to basically edit and model your scenes without having to have the heavy ray trace mode. So if you're getting into a lot of textures, if you're making very complex things, the lightweight mode will always allow you to simply see your geometry for what it is and not have to worry about the heaviness of the ray tracing. This was really from popular demand that we have something that allows people to easily edit, and we're going to be making the lightweight mode more a little more realistic, bring more materials to it. But for now, it's just really giving you an option to make models without the heaviness of the ray tracing. So if you haven't had a chance, give this a try, and also let us know what you think about our lightweight mode. All right, back to normal. I like the normal. I like things being shiny and like really realistic. So I'm back to the ray tracing mode. Okay, so the first major, I'm going to jump into materials first, and then we can look at intersect and stain. But the first major change is we've introduced two new types of materials, pro materials and super materials. The pro material is one that has extra settings. Those include things like a surface tint, an inside color, which is also known as absorption, semi-clear, material thickness, etc. Now, what makes the pro sliders really exciting is that you can take a normal material like this white plastic and you can give it something like an iridescence. And even though on plastic it's very subtle, if I turn my glass up, you start to see this really nice sort of petroleum plastic holographic effect. This is traditionally known as iridescence, and I think it's a really exciting feature, especially combined with things like scratches or metalness. It makes everything kind of have a more funky look, and I'm kind of obsessed with this slider, to be honest, because it just gives everything. Even if I pump it up like just a little bit on the metal or on the glass, I feel like it gives it that just like a very subtle, nice realism. So I love the iridescence. This is pro, so these don't have any kind of procedural or mathematic mapping to it. This is just extra sliders on your traditional materials. Going back to the top, one of my favorite also that the team probably knows because I was obsessed with is going to be the inside color and the subsurface scattering. So being able to give glass or something that's semi-translucent, this color inside of it really gives it this amazing effect of depth, of thickness, and it gives things more of a realism. And so if you play a little bit with your inside color combined with things like material thickness, you can really achieve some awesome effects. Now, if you didn't notice, if I go to 0 with material thickness, you almost get a cloud-like effect, which is also a lot of fun, almost like um, almost like a translucency or transparency that a lot of folks have been asking for. So I really encourage folks to play around with material thickness, especially if you set it to 0 and you set up a thick inside color, whether that's red or, black. You can get sort of a smoky, really interesting effect. Now, the material thickness slider that I was just showing, this one actually is traditionally called IOR. So that's index of refraction. What's cool about that is you'll see that our material thickness goes from 1 to 2.41, which just seems really arbitrary, but it's because these are real index of refraction numbers. So if you're interested in knowing like what, glass or like crystals IOR is, you can Google that and you can put that number in there. So it actually is physically based. And this will allow you just to get closer to the material you're looking to create without having to guess or like eyeball it. You can literally just Google, what's rubber's IOR and put that in there. So if you're wondering why 2.41, that's the maximum index of refraction on Earth, I suppose. And so that's why it's 241. Okay, so moving on from material thickness, which I encourage you to always play with no matter what material you've applied. Material thickness is a really interesting slider to play with. My other favorite, I'm going to turn glass off here. My other favorite is semi-clear. Now, semi-clear is traditionally known as subsurface scattering. What that means is that your object is going to have this sort of depth, an outside color, an inside color. And so for skin, for wax, for soap, I really like making soap on Womp. You can make the interior color something darker, the exterior color something lighter, and you're just going to get this really nice kind of soapy silicone or maybe even candle wax effect. Playing around with the color that's inside and the color that's outside is a lot of fun too, to just make things that, unexpected combinations of colors on the outside and on the inside create really nice effects like this one. Blue on the outside and this deep red on the inside is really interesting. Now, this is, again, just the pure sliders. We can also apply the procedural materials on top of this, and I'll show that in a second, but just pure sliders can do really incredible stuff. And things like teeth and skin are now possible on Womp with this realism of depth and thickness, and essentially what the industry knows as subsurface scattering. Again, if you play with your material thickness slider, interesting things can happen. And obviously your surface tint and shine are also really interesting things to play with. By pulling that up, I now have like sort of a shiny candle. If I pull that back down, it's a matte candle. And so I think a lot of these combinations, if played around, you can get some really interesting effects. We've also packed the material libraries with some exciting stuff that we've made and pre-made for you guys. So for example, one of my favorite is ivory. That's something that is, well, I might have added a procedural material to this, but originally it could be just based on sliders. So you can see that subsurface scattering coming through in this one where you have that cream and then you kind of have this like red orange tint in the middle as the inside color, which gives it a really nice effect. I think, yeah, inside color is sort of like a yellow. All right, so that's a little bit of about subsurface scattering. I'll go back to the material I was creating before. Surface shine and strength. This is sheen. You can make some really velvety looking things with some shine to it. Really an awesome thing to play around, especially with sci-fi looking things that are sort of glowing, which also brings me down to glow, which is essentially emission. And this allows you to make any object into a light or make it glow. And you can control the color of that glow by controlling the color of the base. So if I make that blue, I can really turn up that blue glow, and you can see it shining on the floor. It'll shine on other objects. And essentially you can basically use this instead of lights. So if you want to use an object, or if you want to like design your glowy effects without having to use the lights, you can, using our emission. So lots of fun with emission. Honestly, I haven't even had a chance to play around too much with emission. I want to make some neon lights. I saw uh, uh, Dr. Drill make something really good with these lights, a Pac-Man sign on some bricks. So I know you guys are going to make some amazing stuff with this that I haven't even had a chance to play around with. Now, if you play with emission and something like surface tint and shine, it looks really good. Material thickness also can play a role with your glow in combination. So I encourage you guys to just play around with some of these sliders. Some of them will cancel each other out, so maybe you won't see an effect happen if you turn up IOR, or if you turn up the material thickness. It might be because your metal is on. So some of them cancel out, and we're figuring out how we can do a better job at explaining which ones affect which. But for now, you'll see if something doesn't affect your scene or your material, it might be because something else is on. All right, moving on from our amazing pro sliders and everything you can do with them, I'll show you guys a little bit of the procedural materials, or what we call super materials. And of course, my favorites are probably going to be the clay. I am pretty obsessed with the clay materials. I just think that, and we're trying to perfect the clay and all the fingerprints on the clay as well. But I am pretty obsessed with the clay material. I just love this kind of silly Play-Doh or Clay-Doh look. And I'm kind of obsessed with how it interacts as well when you move things around, and the ability for you to change some of the sliders. So one thing to notice about the super materials is that they override any other material on the union. Now, this is changing. We're going to allow you to do a per primitive. That's coming up. That's a little secret, but right now it's union based. However, your original material is inside on your primitive. So we have this special little toggle right here. Maybe the live stream doesn't let you see it because we've got a logo in front of it. But there is a toggle here that's called Uses Color. If you turn it off, you can get the procedural materials effect with the color of the original primitives color. So I can, change the color of my primitives to be completely different, and then I can give it that clay procedural material. And if I turn off the toggle, it'll keep that original color underneath and just give it the clay look on top. So that's a little bit, at the moment, that's what we have now, but we are changing and making it so that we can do it per primitive. Might be suffering from a bug here. Yeah, there we go. The other thing that's really interesting about the procedural materials is just the ability to change some of the parameters on there. So things like the texture of the sand, the size of those sand dots on the clay, being able to change the fingerprint size and give it, a height. What kind of height does this texture have? Is it more significant? Is it less significant? There you go. That's a little flatter. Give it more depth, and really play around with creating new materials. I do this a lot. I'll be playing around with the material and I'll be like, well, that kind of looks like mustard. And I'll create a new material called mustard for you guys. If you guys have any suggestions or asks, let us know. We're designing these materials on a daily basis. We'll be dropping new materials. I already have some really cool materials that have been created by the team that I'll be dropping today. But if you guys have suggestions on what you want to see, what materials you want, we have a list already. We've got fabric. People want more tiles and interior materials, but please do bring some more suggestions, because we're always looking for more suggestions. Now that's the clay. I really love the clay. Out of the clay, I made some wax materials, and what I changed about that, just so you guys can see the flexibility of the clay material, is that I changed the subsurface scattering on the clay, and to me that looks like a waxy material. So just by changing the fact or the parameters on here, I was able to create this wax. I just made it shiny. I can make it flatter. If I turn on the glass, maybe it has another material. I'm not even sure what this material is. Maybe that's like a clear clay. I don't even know if that exists, but you can see how versatile things can become if you can change things around. I see in the comments someone's asking for fur, grass and fur from Dr. Drill. Yeah, I hear you. That. I think we are working hard on some grass and fur, and then some banana peels. Knitted textures. I would love knitted textures. We're working really hard on fabrics. Fabrics require like a direction, and so we're working on that as well. Yeah, I know we're saying we really like the avocado ones. Those were made by me. I was in the mood for avocados, so I decided that that's how random our materials are right now. Just like I wanted avocado, so I made the avocado material. So if you guys tell us, we'll keep bringing the materials out for you guys as you request them. But I do suggest that you play around with the sliders, because what we've provided is just the beginning. I'm sure you guys can even come up with things we haven't even thought of. And again, by changing some of the colors and the combinations, I just have this kind of new waxy material that I'm also really digging. Let's see. One thing I just mentioned right now was direction. And some of these precision materials have direction. So for example, this brick that I'm applying right now has tiles or it's tiled in a certain direction. And so you can change the direction of the tiles at the moment using, let's see, where does it show up? Texture direction. We have X, Y, and Z. It's a lot of fun to play around with. This is sort of what we're trying to figure out with the fabrics, knitted crochets, stuff like that, fur, is allowing people to have direction. And as you can see, the brick kind of has like this top and bottom direction. With cloth and knitted things, someone's doing construction right now. With cloth and knitted things, there might be a direction that's like concentric. So that's what we're finishing up with, that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, bricks have some really cool effects with being able to choose the direction of brick. And also playing around with brick material, you're able to make all kinds of different things. I saw some folks making some amazing glass bricks. I've played around a little bit with that, and I made some jade bricks as well, just playing with subsurface scattering on bricks, which is a lot of fun. Now, within the bricks themselves, there's so many parameters. It's like crazy, but I haven't had a chance to play around with them too much myself. But you can play with the size of the bricks, of course, mortar spacing, and I don't even know like what this could become. You can play with a header width, which gives the header, like it gives like a different, every so often you'll get like different bricks. The brick shape, which is a very subtle thing. If you guys don't see any change in your procedural materials, I suggest you just zoom in. So things like the brick shape, if you just play around with that, you'll see a big difference. Brick edge, clean to like realistic. You can twist your bricks around and create completely new patterns. I mean, this is something I haven't even been able to play around with myself, like create new patterns with the brick and see like what other material I can create by playing around with the pattern of the brick. So yeah, there's just a lot of stuff here to play around with, making them glow. I don't know. I'm seriously just playing around with it the way that I usually do, and sometimes just like really fun things happen. Like, I don't know, some weird, funky fabric. The parameters for bricks always have this colored bricks on and off, so you can create colors inside of the bricks, and there's a base color as well that you can play around with. One other thing about the bricks is if you like get really close to the mortar, which I guess is like the cement in between the bricks, you can see some of the details that are in there as well. At the moment, I think I have some like iridescence inside of that brick. Yes, I think I do. Turn that down, and it's, I guess, green. Yeah, there's like a lot of parameters. Let's bring down that glow. And I think I have a surface tint, my inside color. So yeah, there's just a lot to play around with, even with things like bricks. So going into each one of these procedural materials. Also, if you guys want another kind of parameter inside of bricks, you're like, I really want to randomly change the colors of the bricks, I don't know, in some mathematical way, let us know as well, because that could be really interesting for us to play around with. See, now I don't know what this is. I don't know. This is some kind of cloth or something. But yeah, lots of fun with the procedural materials on Womp and just making new stuff. We are also going to be releasing the ability for us to share materials with each other. So I'm really excited about that. And there's even more things coming that I hope that everyone will find really exciting. But yeah, that's a little bit about the procedural materials. Let me think if there's anything else that I think is worth showing. Wood and stone and cement were kind of similar. Things like, I am kind of obsessed with the human skin. It's kind of gross, but it's kind of amazing too. I'm going to show the human skin because the human skin just has so many parameters. It is kind of gross. It's got a lot of weird details, and I want even more weird details on it. But this is just an example of how we can create like realism using procedural noise. And so things like the pore density, which is really gross, and the color of the pores. I use this material to create the dragon pores, or the dragon material with the dragon and alien skin. But I also used it for some weird, like veiny plant texture. So I also am like, I also need to spend some time playing around with the skin. Like now I just turned up the glass. I don't even know what this is. Some kind of weird dragon skin. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, maybe if I turn up the metalness, something crazy happens with the skin. Okay, so skin is pretty gross, but I like it because it shows all the different. Someone said the Cronenberg. Yeah, exactly. It's like the Cronenberg material. Okay, so things like playing around with pore color, pore size, the crack color, which means like the skin cracks. So now it doesn't even look like skin. I don't even know what that is. There's something called the micro vein color, which is also really gross, but I like to make it like blue, which makes it just like, I don't know, somebody's like, I like weird and gross stuff. So this is like really interesting to me to be able to make this weird skin color. And I'm dying to, my face puddle, I don't know if anyone's seen my face puddle that I've made. I'm really dying to put this material on it. But the other thing we have is a big vein that's also running through the skin as usual. And you can also change the color of that. You can see it now. If you make it purple or if you make it green, it just gets really weird. And I just think that that is awesome. So if we can make these big veins, small veins, cracks, pores, there's even moles running around this material. This material is a great example of how combination of things we can really get some really weird stuff. All right, I think Frodo is asking, and how will this subscription work with the Wamples? Okay, that's a great question, Frodo. All right, I'm going to move off of the materials and talk more about two things: the subscription model and the Wompathon. Okay, so Frodo's reminded me, we are obviously, Womp Pro is going to be a subscription model. You can subscribe to it on a monthly or yearly basis. On a yearly basis, you get 25% discount. But we are also doing something really special at Womp, which I know a lot of you old-time Wompers know about Womples, and you've made Womples, and it's sort of like, why do these things exist, and what do I do with the Womples? In this new account, I have 2 Womples. I'm like Womple poor. But the Womples will now serve to also subscribe and get credit for Womp Pro and other exciting things coming. But for those who are really concerned or have just stressed about paying for Womp Pro, we're going to be allowing people to also exchange Womples for that. And that also means that your activity on Womp, or being able to comment on each other's posts or like each other's posts, can help each other and give each other sort of Womples to encourage you to keep making stuff and to just give back to the community for the activity, because we really do appreciate all the posts and the incredible work, and we want to make sure that the community doesn't feel locked out of new features. So we will be disclosing more of those updates on how many wamples it costs and all this stuff. And that also means during contests, if you win a contest, if you win some of our challenges, getting wamples means you get the possibility to get a discount on your pro subscription, or to, get a whole month for free. And hopefully that will be something that will be exciting. So yeah, so my team's like encouraging me to talk about that. There you go. That's a little bit about that. If you guys have any questions too, we're ready to answer them. This is really new for us too. We worked really hard to get Womp Pro out. Even the team hasn't had a long time to play around with it. So we're actually really excited to see what you guys do with it. I'm playing with it, like some materials, for the first time myself. So I'm, just so you guys know, this is something that's very new, and we got it out. We got it out of the box, and we just gave it to you guys as soon as we could. All right, Yuri is encouraging me also to talk about the resolution UX. That is a really good point as well. Less exciting. Actually, no, just as exciting. Resolution UX is something new that we introduced maybe 2 weeks ago or a week ago, and it is extremely powerful. I'm not sure how many of you guys have played around with it, but when you run out of resolution because one of the things on your scene is like too long and something's too small, and it starts to get crunchy. I don't know if I can simulate it here. I'm like trying to simulate it with the default queue. Maybe that's a good example. And it starts to get crunchy, and you're not happy about the crunchiness or the effect that it's having on your scene. So now we've offered people the ability. Can I get that effect here? Yes. And now we have offered people the ability to turn up that resolution. And so now you can really control resolution on your scenes without having to worry about, different sizes of things. It still has a limitation. As you can see, there's still a little bit of crunchiness, but you can really play around with resolution. And also, I don't know, going really low with the resolution is also super interesting and really weird. So I chose, and we decided as a team, that we should leave the really weird low resolution stuff because it could come in handy to make some weird, I don't know, we don't know. You guys amaze us, so we have no idea, and we just left the low resolution Cronenberg stuff on here as well. So it's a lot of fun, and if you're running out of memory or your scene's becoming really slow, just turn down your floor or turn down things that do not need to have high resolution. And with the procedural materials, also a great way to hide a low resolution union. You just throw a procedural material on it, and you'll just hide all that crunchiness. It does take a little bit of time to load a procedural material, by the way. Don't panic. It's loading. It just has a lot of different layers and textures on there. It'll come through. But see, this is kind of weird. I don't know. The low resolution combination with the clay does some weird stuff. Maybe this is a great way for us to produce grass. Who knows? We're not sure. But yeah, play around with the low resolution and visit your old files. I've been doing that a lot. I've been visiting my old files. Some of them that I didn't publish, some of them had resolution issues. I've just been playing around with procedural materials and resolution. It's been a lot of fun. I've been really able to take some file that I didn't finish up properly and play around with it. All right, let me see some questions. This procedural materials were really cool. Is there any plans to allow us to build our own? Oh, okay. Yes, that's coming up. I'm very excited about that. But yes, we will allow people to build their own materials, and it will be, I think, really amazing. So stay tuned for that. At the moment, you can build your own materials, of course, playing around with all those different parameters. And trust me, I don't know scripting, and I'm intimidated by scripting, so I don't do it. But I've been playing around with the materials that the team has provided for me, and a lot of the materials on here are created by me by just playing around with the parameters. But yes, very soon there will be the ability to also create your own materials, and that also is going to be related to Womples and that kind of economy. I'm not sure if I can say much more, but exciting stuff happening. Marina says, honestly, my favorite so far is the skin. I love it so much. Yeah, I know. The skin is amazing, isn't it? Says, Were there any improvements for the exports? Yes, actually, the exports, not only do we have the ability to export, actually, I should have shown that, but we have the ability to export things out of Womp at the moment that will be compatible with Blender, with any 3D software, but the procedural materials and the way the procedural materials look, even if they're glassy, will be compatible. And I'll show some examples on the Discord soon. I have a question, says, when will the tablet iPad support be coming in? Very soon. So technically iPad does work right now, but we're working on 2 buttons that will help it make it so much easier. But if your name, oh God, my eyes are failing me now, your name Emilis, if you want to give us some feedback on what's missing for the Yuri's reminding me I haven't talked about Intersect and Stain. Okay, I'm going to get to that. But if you have any suggestions of what's making iPad or tablet not a good experience, let us know. It's next on our list to get that done, along with some exciting stuff that has to do with tablets. But do give us feedback. It technically should work pretty well. We're at like the 90% of getting tablet done. If you have to access it from the browser still at the moment. So do tell us what you think about especially the procedural materials and stuff on tablet. Okay, I'm being reminded of Intersect and Stain. If you guys haven't played around with Intersect and Stain, do. It's a lot of fun. The Stain, of course, is really self-explanatory. This is like painting. It's exciting because the goop makes it really, really, I don't know, satisfying to use. Being able to really use the goop factor, but with painting and get that spread or that really sharp kind of sticker or stencil-like quality is a lot of fun. And you guys no longer have to sort of use the goop or like cut the goopiness out with a negative. You can really just play around with staining stuff. And of course, Stain also works with the procedural materials. If you can override the color for the procedural material, Stain will work as well. So we worked really hard to make sure that that was possible. You just have to turn on the uses color so that you can use your primitive colors on there, and you can use the Stain material on the procedural materials. And this is specific so that I could use that skin material and make some, I don't know, some blush shade cheeks with the skin material. So any other skin material fans out there, this one was for the skin material. It's not true, it's for everything, but I particularly feel like with skin, the paint will be amazing. This block of rubber has some subsurface scattering. Let me take that off. Yeah, there we go, so that we don't have any so we can look at the paint. And it works with curves as well. So that's super exciting because that means that things like typography and being able to actually stain something with your curves is really a lot of fun. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so Stain works with curves as well. And that's, I think, pretty exciting stuff. I'm not getting the effect I want. There we go. So yeah, this is, I think, something we also as a team haven't had the best of chance to play around with. I did see somebody internally use the brick with the stain, and that was pretty amazing. So being able to do like graffiti on a brick wall, I thought was pretty cool. Again, make sure to turn off the uses color if you want to see the stain on there. And yeah, the brick takes a little bit. It's just laying down all those bricks. All right, I'm going to show you guys also, let me delete this one. I'm going to show you guys, oh, this brick's kind of weird. Oh, I'm on the wrong side of the brick. If your brick looks weird, you might be on the wrong side of it. So the last thing I also wanted to show is let's make this into a positive. The other thing I wanted to show is how you can use Intersect. And Intersect, I know, is like maybe not that interesting or doesn't seem that interesting, but it actually is, because achieving forms that traditionally would have required a lot of different cuts now become much easier on Womp. I guess I'll make this out of brick. Let's change the direction of that. No, not the mirror. Oops. Let's go over here and let's change the direction of the brick so that it's facing up. I don't know why, but it'll be facing up. There we go. Okay, so now you know, before it was kind of hard to make a cell phone on Womp like an iPhone because you either had the roundness on all sides like this, and it kind of looked like an iPhone. What is it? I don't know the first iPhone. I don't know what iPhone that was. I don't pay attention, but you either had this one or you have just a normal square or a normal block. But now with Intersect, dun, 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 you can, where is it? Intersect. Now I can pull this guy in and I can make an iPhone 15 or 5 or whatever the new iPhone is. There we go. So I can combine the, let's make this taller, bring it down. You guys are better at Womp than I am, actually, so won't judge me for not being able to do this with more ease. There we go. I don't know why I made this iPhone a brick iPhone, but there you go. The brick iPhone. This is the latest iPhone this is the Womp phone. Let's make it, I don't know, let's make it human skin. Yeah. Okay, so now you can make the transitions and these kind of interactions that traditionally would have required you to have a negative on the top and the negative on the bottom, and that would have caused an issue also with your resolution. Now you can basically intersect, and then there's also a goop intersection. So look, I love that. The goop, applying a goop to intersection is a lot of fun, actually. You get some really interesting and weird shapes, and I also was playing for the Yuri's reminding me of the smooth transition into the Wompathon and the iPhone 15. 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I played with intersection on this one, and I thought that this was pretty fun because basically I used curves and made these weird noodles with the curves, and then I used, this is like way over, and then I used the sphere to intersect with it. It's this one, not this one. Let's delete that. And then I was able to create this really weird sort of macaroni bone marrow structure. So intersect can lead some really interesting stuff. And if you turn that goop up, even weirder stuff will definitely happen with intersect and curves. So that's my suggestion. Intersect and curves. It's sort of like a Cheeto spaghetti. I think that I might make this a Cheeto material. I'm not 100% happy with it, but it's gonna become, I think we need a Cheeto material. I think we need a Cheeto material basically. But yeah, definitely play around with intersect and goop. I'm gonna keep playing with it because even I and the team, we've just been kind of heads down trying to get this out, and we haven't had time to just play around with these. So I promise you Intersect probably has like a lot of really interesting stuff that nobody's thinking about. Let's change this into a cube. See, that's cool. I think that's pretty cool and really weird and interesting. So yeah, that's what Intersect does. Now, Yuri's reminding me of the Wompathon. We are hosting a Wompathon. So we're super excited, and we are going to be launching it now. And the theme for the Wompathon is to Wompify with the procedural materials your favorite object, and that could be pretty much anything, but the rules are to use procedural materials on your object in weird and unexpected ways, or in beautiful and exciting ways. And so one of the prizes for the Wompathon will be an iPhone 15, and more information on the Wompathon and all the prizes from the Wompathon will be announced both on the internal Womp Discord and on the real Discord. So stay tuned for your Wompathon instructions. But I'm very excited. We'll have a live stream for the winners, some great prizes, including Wamples, if you guys are interested now in Wamples, because they now have a economy. And also some exciting prizes as usual. And I'm just really excited to see what you guys make. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. I'm here to answer any questions, leftover questions. Yes, I do think this will be a Cheeto material, Frodo. I it needs some more cheese on the surface, but it's getting pretty close to a Cheeto material. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions about materials, Intersect, Stain, any of our new features, let us know. You can always ask us questions also on the Discord or on Womp itself. And and yeah, just you guys know the drill. We're here to help, and we're just really excited, to be honest, to see what you guys are going to be making, because you guys are amazing and you guys make amazing things. So nothing compared to what we show you. Anna says, and sorry, my eyes are killing me. Could you elaborate on the theme of the Wompathon? Didn't quite catch it. Yeah, the theme of the Wompathon is your favorite object Wompified. So that means grabbing any object that, you know, is your favorite object. That's pretty open-ended, to be honest. If you'd ask me, I'd probably do a planter that I really love, and then using new and exciting materials from the new Womp Pro, which is free for the next 2 weeks, to make something amazing. And so you can go a fun route and make, you know, your favorite object that might be I don't know, some kind of nostalgic toy from your childhood. I know we just had a toy challenge. Make that out of pickle material or out of Cheeto material, or it might be, I don't know, making an iPhone 15 out of human skin. Sounds worse. But yeah, it's just your favorite object and using the Womp materials to make it look awesome. It says a PC and a banana peel material. Yeah, is that your favorite object, a PC? I think that's pretty high up there for me. Shiva says, will there be any new tutorials in development? Yes, there's some really great, I mean, as usual, Saku's produced 3 or 4 new tutorials on all the new materials and all the new functions. You can find those on the Womp Discover page. If you go here, you can find these new Pro super materials. If you go to our YouTube page, you'll probably find the Stain and the all the Wamp Pro new tutorials. So definitely check out our YouTube, subscribe to it, because Saku's always releasing new tutorials on how to use stuff. So it's 3 new Pro materials, super materials, and Stain and Intersect. So check them out. Okay, let me see. Any other questions? So we should include some of the Pro materials. Yeah, definitely include the Pro materials. I think Yuri and the team will have more details on the rules, but definitely include the Pro materials. The idea here is for us all to play around with the Pro materials and to kind of spark everyone's creativity with the materials. So definitely use and explore the materials for this challenge. It will be one of the sort of the rules. The rules of the Wompathon is to use some kind of Pro material in a creative or interesting way. Yeah. All right. Any other questions, guys? I'm here. I'm seeing some new stuff coming out, beautiful new stuff with new materials. So I'm excited to jump on the Discover page and look at what you guys have been making. Do you know how many Wamples we need to pay for Womp Pro? Not yet. We're finalizing that, and we will be announcing that probably next week. But it should be something that is, something we'll be offering as well as prizes for different challenges. We have a lot of challenges happening, the daily stuff and everything. So we'll update you guys next week, likely, on that. All right, I think that's it. I think I remember to mention all the things, Yuri, that I was supposed to mention. So I think, is there any plan to have servers near Asia? Yes, that is a great question. We are really looking at opening servers. As you guys know, right now, the GPUs are kind of taking a long time to get because of just, the need for GPUs. I don't know if that's something everybody knows, but if you don't, we're trying to open some servers in Asia. So if you're in Asia and you're having a hard time connecting, we're really prioritizing being able to open some servers in Asia and have you guys have a better experience. Super update. Thanks, Speedy. We're excited to see your new work. Very excited. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm excited to see what happens. Let's get cracking for the Wompathon, and I'm excited to see who wins. And I'm excited to see what you guys make. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask us on Discord, email us if you have any issues. And yeah, very excited. Thanks so much for jumping on this live stream. And I'll see you guys on Discord. Bye.